Is your loved one with dementia doing something that is driving you crazy? Something that you wish they would change? Have all of your attempts to try to change that behavior failed? No matter what you've done, it just seems like nothing has helped. In today's video, I'm going to share something with you to help you feel less stressed and frustrated when everything you've done and everything you keep trying to do to change your loved one's behavior doesn't seem to be working. By listening to this strategy and applying it to your life, you're going to notice that you're going to feel much better no matter what it is that your loved one is doing. I'm Natalie Edmonds, a board-certified geropsychologist, and the information and strategies I share on this channel have helped thousands of Careblazers. I hope that this will help you too. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button on your screen if you haven't already. It's totally free and it helps other dementia caregivers around the world be able to find this information. All right, so let's say your loved one is doing something over and over, something you find incredibly frustrating. Maybe they are constantly repeating themselves or asking you the same question over and over. They might be following you around everywhere. Perhaps they are constantly accusing you of things that are not true. And let's just say you've watched my previous videos on how to respond to those challenging behaviors and nothing has worked. You've tried every single thing you can try. You've really given it your full on effort, your best attempt to change the behavior, and nothing has worked. And by the way, I'm going to link videos below for how to respond to difficult behaviors below this video in the description. But we're just going to say that you've tried them all and nothing has worked. This is what you can do now. In these situations, the goal here is to change your expectations. The goal is to change your response. The goal is not on changing their behavior. Remember, you've already tried that without success. The goal is on changing your response to that behavior. And stick with me here because in just a minute, I'm going to share with you a 3-step process for you to follow and a little secret about when you follow this 3-step system about what it can do for you. But right now, when you take the attention, the expectation off of them to change, which you know the attention on them is just frustrating you because they're not changing, and you start to put it on yourself, then you're starting to put the attention on something you have total control of, and that's you. When you expect that challenges are going to happen, you just know that these challenges are going to happen because they've been happening, it makes it a little less frustrating and upsetting. This way you can start to plan for it, right? So if you just know that today, at some point, my loved one's going to accuse me of something that's not true, right? It helps you prepare for that and it's not going to take you as off guard. So number 1, you just expect it. That way, it's not a surprise when it happens. There's something to be said for just knowing and expecting the challenge is going to be coming. Number 2, you get to prepare ahead of time. How do you want to respond to the situation that you know is going to happen? And number 3, you practice ahead of time feeling what you want to feel in that situation. So if we're taking away the expectation that we are going to change our loved one through our actions and we're focusing only on ourselves, the question here becomes, how do you want to feel? You probably don't want to feel angry, resentful, and frustrated. Those are probably emotions you're already feeling now. Am I right? Does this seem to hit home with you? Many people who have a loved one with dementia doing things that they don't want them to be doing feel angry, resentful, and frustrated. I don't know very many people who want to feel that way. So instead, how do you want to feel? If you could feel anything in the world about this situation, how is it that you would want to feel? Would you want to feel caring, understanding, compassionate, patient? So once you figure out what it is you want to feel in that situation, the situation that it has been frustrating you in the past, when you decide ahead of time, how do I want to feel about this? Then you ask yourself, what is it that I need to think in order to feel that way? What is it that you want to think to yourself the next time your loved one does that behavior that hasn't been able to change? So let's go back to the example of your loved one accusing you of something that's not true. Number one, you're not surprised. You expected it. You know this was coming. You're no longer focusing on them trying to change. You're focusing on how you want to respond. So from a place of preparation and planning, you can think to yourself, how do I want to feel about this? What do I want to think about it to feel that way, right? Do you want to feel loving, caring, compassionate? So instead of saying, I'm so sick and tired of this happening, you might instead choose ahead of time to think something like, this is a really confusing disease, or it's hard to be around this, but I'm committed to caring for my loved one. Any sort of thought you want, but the point is you're taking that time up front to decide, I know this really challenging thing is going to happen. How is it that I want to think about it when it happens? You can go on certainly and continue thinking about it the way that you have been. This shouldn't be happening. This is unfair. This is horrible. You by all means can go ahead and continue to think that way. But from the emails I get from many of you and the comments I get from many of you, you don't want to feel that way. So this is your way out of it by focusing on you, your response. How do you want to feel in that situation? Most of you don't want to feel completely happy in a situation where your loved one is constantly accusing you of something that's not true, right? So how do you want to feel? Perhaps understanding, compassionate, loving, caring. One of those things might feel better for you. What do you need to think to feel that way? Now, some of you might not be liking what I have to say in this video, and I don't blame you. I don't know anybody who likes having to be in a situation where their loved one is doing something completely they find frustrating or challenging, and that no matter what they've tried, it's not changing, right? I totally get it. But if you do find yourself in this situation, the beauty of this approach is by putting the attention on you, by changing the way you want to think about it and feel as a result, that starts to come across in the relationship. That starts to rub off on your loved one. And what many Careblazers find is that the behavior challenges start to diminish. They start to reduce. That is the secret and the beauty in this approach. So often, Careblazers, we just want the behavior to change right away. We don't feel better until the behavior changes right away. Well, when that happens, we continue to be frustrated, resentful, angry, irritable, short-tempered. We feel that. It comes across in our day-to-day interactions, not only with your loved one, but maybe with other loved ones in your family or coworkers or neighbors, right? Like it comes across. So when you start to decide, okay, I'm in control here. I know this is going to happen. How do I want to feel ahead of time? What do I need to think to feel that way? We start to approach the situation from a more calm, loving, kind, compassionate, patient place. And boom, that is often what tends to get our loved ones to change. The hardest part about it is that we're not waiting for the loved one to change in order to make that change ourselves. We start to change and then our loved ones follow along. So I know I'm challenging you here, Careblazer. I know this is not an easy ask, but what I would really encourage you to do is to give this a try. Think of a frustrating, challenging behavior that has nothing you have tried has worked up to this point. Prepare yourself for it. Expect that it's going to happen so you're not surprised. Prepare ahead of time for what you're going to think to yourself when that happens. That gives you a better feeling. Put it into work. I know this is not easy, but going through life constantly trying to change your loved one when nothing is working, that's not easy either. Sometimes this Careblazer journey requires some different creative ways to approach challenging behaviors, and this is definitely one of those ways. If I thought that telling your loved one to change would work, I'm sure you've already tried that and it hasn't worked. If I thought you could do X, Y, or Z to get your loved one to change, which in some cases you can, and there's videos below this, video links below this video that I've done on those topics, but if none of that has worked, right, then we have to start to adjust, and this is one of the ways. All right, Careblazer, I'll be back next week with another video. If you haven't already, there's a free Careblazer survival guide. The link is below this video. This is also the last chance to get my mini booster series for 20% off to help you lower dementia caregiver stress and handle difficult dementia behaviors. That link is below this video. I'll be back next week. Hang in there.